Hello，兄弟们，你们要的大结局要来了啊！
Brothers, I've been unemployed for exactly 5 months. Today, my wife took the initiative to propose a divorce. From Monday until now, we've argued 3 times in 3 days, and my frustration has reached its peak. I really don't know how to handle this anymore. Today, I actually blocked her, which is the first time I've ever blocked her in our 6-year relationship. Before, every time we fought, she would block me, but I've never blocked anyone. I don't want to admit that my unemployment has led to this situation, but the reality is that it has. I've never experienced anything like this before. The reason is that I had originally planned to prepare for job hunting and research business opportunities this week, but early this morning my wife sent me bad news. Our house has dropped by almost 2 million yuan. The same community, same type of apartment, ours is 56.55 square meters and cost nearly 5 million yuan when we bought it. Now, it's probably not even worth 3 million, down by 2 million yuan. This news put me in a terrible mood right at the start of the day. Several years of savings have all been wiped out. Although I tried to adjust my mood by reading 2 books and doing a lot of things, feeling quite fulfilled because I decided to work hard. But when she got home in the evening, she immediately suspected that I had been smoking, but I really hadn't. Before, I had smoked once when I was feeling down and she found out. Since then, she's always suspected that I smoke at home and checks every time she comes home. She also noticed that I had worn the slippers from the doorway into the master bedroom, and that completely set her off. She started berating me. I know I was wrong, but I honestly didn't do it on purpose. Later, when she was on a video call with our child back in her hometown and saw my mom on the call, she started criticizing me. My mom didn't say anything. I know she's trying to maintain peace between us and doesn't dare say too much. She also complained during the video call that I don't cook at home and only order takeout. In reality, I only spend about 20 yuan a day on 2 meals through takeout. I genuinely don't like cooking and cleaning up is a hassle. She also said I just lie around all day playing on my phone and not making any progress, completely ignoring my efforts. In front of my mother, she berated me for over 10 minutes in the video call. My mom didn't say anything, and I was already feeling really upset. After the call ended, we started arguing and ended up sleeping in separate rooms. The next day, I originally wanted to have a calm conversation, but her reaction was very intense, and she slammed the door as she left. I tried to communicate with her over WeChat, but we ended up arguing again. As someone who thinks logically, I believe that when there's a problem, it should be solved by talking it through, not avoiding it no matter who's right or wrong. But her perspective is that if I don't speak it means I'm in the wrong, and she says that the way I try to reason with her makes her very frustrated, feeling like she's being hurt. A friend once told me, a family is not a place for reasoning, and I think that's quite accurate. But my wife's opinion is that no matter what happens I must yield to her, and if I don't always try to reason with her, we'll never fight. I've tried her method before for a period of time. But honestly I can't do it. I'm not that tolerant yet. Another friend told me that you can't reason at home, it's just a place for arguments. Hearing that, I think it makes some sense too. Because every time I try to reason with my wife she just says, "Alright, you're not wrong, okay? You're not wrong at all, you're totally right, it's all my fault." When she says that, what can I even say? And why did we argue today? She said I mentioned the name of a club she used to be part of to one of my friends, which she saw as an invasion of her privacy, and that led to another argument. In the process of communicating with her, I feel like she's a powder keg, ready to explode at any moment. Eventually she just started cursing at me. Whenever I say anything to her, she assumes I want a divorce. She says she agrees to the divorce and tells me to do whatever I want. Right now, I really don't know how to handle our relationship anymore. These past few days, I've been preparing for job interviews and haven't been reading much. My mood is very low. Now I understand what a harmonious family brings prosperity means. Constant fighting really drains your energy to stay focused. To avoid these problems, I've been playing video games lately. I'm out of ideas now and I really hope you guys can give me some advice. I feel like I'm hitting a dead end. The house, the family, the job, it feels like everything is falling apart. Thanks, guys. That's all for now, I need to calm down for a bit myself.
朋友们，我今天很伤心，伤透了心。
Brothers, today I'm really feeling heavy-hearted. My heart is completely shattered. Hearing what my wife said made me feel incredibly sad. I'm now 39 years old, and I've been unemployed for 2 months, still looking for a job, but no progress so far. Today is Friday, and I spent the entire day outside looking for work. The sun was scorching, and I was drenched in sweat, feeling utterly exhausted. When I got home, it was still relatively early, so I had some food and took a shower. To my surprise, my wife saw this and immediately said that I was wasting food by eating, and wasting electricity and water by showering. Hearing her say that made me feel particularly uncomfortable. I felt so upset, and also really angry. I slammed the door and walked out. Who doesn't have moments of frustration? Who doesn't experience emotional lows? As husband and wife, we're supposed to support each other, to walk hand in hand. We shouldn't be constantly mocking each other, and we definitely shouldn't be adding fuel to the fire when the other is at their lowest. However, my life always seems to be so tough and full of setbacks. It can all be summed up with one word, difficult, to describe my current situation and feelings.
我老公现在失业1个多月了，现在要靠我的工资养家。
My husband has been unemployed for more than a month, and now our family relies entirely on my salary to maintain our life. Can you help me see if my salary can support this family? Our family's monthly expenses are about 17,000 to 18,000 yuan, although we have tried to save as much as possible. But why are the monthly expenses still so high? It's mainly because the mortgage for our city center apartment is too expensive. First, the mortgage in the city center alone costs 10,000 yuan a month. In addition, we haven't received the house yet, so we also rent a single room in the city, which costs 1,200 yuan a month. My daily living expenses, including food and transportation, are about 1,000 yuan per month, and the baby's expenses also need 1,000 yuan. I also give my mother-in-law 2,000 yuan every month, and my husband's own expenses are around 1,000 to 2,000 yuan per month. With all this added together, the monthly expenses are basically between 17,000 and 18,000 yuan. We also have a car, and the monthly fuel costs are a few hundred yuan. Plus, the utility bills for the house, including water, electricity, and gas, also cost about 1,000 yuan. All these expenses together bring our monthly spending to more than 18,000 yuan. However, my salary is relatively low, only about 12,000 yuan per month, and after deducting various expenses, the actual amount I receive may not even reach 12,000 yuan. In other words, my salary simply cannot cover the expenses of our household. So, I can only hope that my husband can find a job as soon as possible to share the burden of the family. What's even more troublesome is that if my husband hasn't found a job this month, he will also have to pay for his social insurance by himself, which will cost about 1,200 yuan per month. This is another significant expense, so we don't even know how to pay the mortgage this month, and we will probably have to find a way to borrow money.
我现在压力真的很大，知道吧？
My husband, who is 36 years old, has been unemployed for more than 2 years now, and he has no income at all. He just lies in bed all day playing on his phone. I really feel a lot of pressure, you know? Every day when I go to buy groceries, I specifically look for the cheapest vegetables to buy. Can't you just find any job to get by, even if it's just 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 yuan? At least we can get by at home. But my husband is not willing to do that. He says he doesn't want to go out and be exploited by his boss. I really think he is hopeless, completely a man without any ability. He still relies on his wife to support him. I don't know how much longer I can continue living with him. I'll just take it one step at a time.
其实一个男人不赚钱的时候，面对老婆从冷嘲热讽。
I have been unemployed for 2.5 years now, and I suddenly understand one thing. When a man loses his source of income, he may go through intense inner struggles, facing his wife's initial sarcasm that eventually turns into complete indifference. Every time I want to contact her, I don't know what to say. The desire to continue moving forward with her is still strong in my heart, but I also worry about dragging her down, affecting her future. This process is long and painful, and more than once I have thought about giving up. I also have my own grievances. Every time she ignores me, I repeatedly wonder if I should let go. Maybe letting go would be better for both of us. After all, We really tried hard for this beautiful relationship, and while it wasn't without regrets, at least there won't be more regrets left. It's just that thinking about the possibility of never meeting again in the future, I feel a dull pain in my heart. That love we once shared was so deep and genuine that even now, I am unwilling to give up on my wife easily. But I also realize that I must let go of my wife because I need to let go of myself. In the days to come, I will no longer bother you. I am very clear that while we were still together, I might have been a bit selfish and even caused you some trouble. But I could feel your indifference every time you brushed me off. That coldness was impossible to ignore. Actually, it's not that I'm unwilling to accept your departure. It's just that when faced with your firm attitude, I can no longer deceive myself. There's no point in continuing this entanglement. However, even so, I still want to say to myself that I care about you more than you think. Maybe now you no longer need my love, but I still hope that in the days ahead, even without my company, you will take good care of yourself, live the way you always wanted, and find your true happiness. Only then will I be able to let go with peace of mind.
算了算，今天已经分居了整整的2年整了。
Today, I realized that my wife and I have been separated for exactly 2 years. How did these 2 years begin? I still remember that 2 years ago, around this time, I lost my job. As soon as I lost my job, my wife took the child and went to live with her mother. Her decision was very practical, friends. At that time, I was indeed under a lot of financial pressure. So, I started what has now been more than 700 days of living alone. On the first day, I never thought the separation would last this long, because I felt that it might just be due to temporary financial issues. My wife said the same thing. She thought that since I had no income at that time, she would go live with her mother. This way, it could ease my financial burden, and the child could also continue studying there. I thought my wife made a good point. Later, through my own efforts, my income gradually stabilized. I called my wife several times, telling her, "Come back now, my income is not much less than before I lost my job, so there's no need to worry about finances anymore." However, my wife didn't return. She said she had gotten used to living over there and didn't want to come back. She said we could talk about it after the child goes to college. You know, time really flies. In the blink of an eye, 2 years have already passed. Actually, I've fully adapted to living alone during these 2 years. I can even say that I've started to enjoy this unrestrained lifestyle. No one tells me what to do. No one argues with me. I can eat whenever I want, drink alcohol whenever I feel like it. Being alone at home, sometimes I can even laugh out loud, and sometimes I can cry out loud too. I even talk to myself, "You worked hard today, you did great today, you're awesome today." Haha, no one bothers me, it's incredibly free and easy. But sometimes I wonder, if my wife really comes back after 2 years, will I struggle to adapt to it? That's a real question. But I believe there's nothing that time can't change. Time has helped me get used to living alone, and if she comes back, time will also help me readjust to married life. Actually, I'm quite adaptable, friends. Have you noticed that? No matter what changes life throws at me, it's no big deal. Whether it's difficulties, setbacks, or changes, I can handle them with ease. Finally, I raise a glass to all of you friends who are unemployed in front of the screen. I wish you all a quick escape from your struggles.
In a family, the greatest charm of a man lies in his career. In a family, once a man's career encounters problems, especially if he stays unemployed at home for more than 2 years, you can try it and you will find that family conflicts are almost inevitable. The wife starts to look down on him, and the mother-in-law will have various opinions. After all, the man is unemployed and doesn't earn a penny anymore. If a man becomes a stay-at-home dad, revolving around the kitchen, even wearing an apron, his status in the family will also decline. This is very fatal because unemployment for a man means he has lost his social role and masculine spirit. Without a job, it means there is no way to connect with new things and relationships in society. Every man needs to stay connected to the outside world through work so that he has a channel for socialization, has colleagues, and has friends to avoid the intensification of family conflicts. An unemployed man will feel aggrieved and frustrated, and not having a job will double these feelings. I think at this time, men can first lower their past high attitude and look for some basic jobs to start with. Although you may feel pressure and irritation at first, compared to doing nothing at home, your psychological burden will be lighter. A man must have his own job. This is the way to stay connected with society. Whether the job is driving a taxi, working as a chauffeur, delivering food, or something else, as long as it keeps you socialized, while also balancing family and the education of your children, it is a reasonable balance. And then you must spend your other time learning new skills or knowledge. Although it's tough and exhausting, over time, you will find yourself completely different from the past. As for the wife, during the period when your husband is unemployed, you must treat him better than before. Don't blame your husband just because he's unemployed. Some women, once they see their husband is unemployed, immediately start blaming him for being incompetent, calling him a good-for-nothing. But in reality, she herself only earns 5,000 yuan a month, yet expects a lifestyle of 50,000 yuan from her husband. When the man cannot meet her high demands after losing his job, she starts calling him useless, quarreling over these issues every day, even asking for a divorce. But if you truly want such a high standard of living, why didn't you go and directly find someone who earns 50,000 yuan a month in the first place? Is it that those high-income people didn't find you attractive, or you simply couldn't find such a partner? When blaming others, please take a good look at yourself first and see if you really deserve such demands. The key to marriage is mutual understanding and support, especially when facing difficulties. A man's unemployment is not terrifying. What truly determines the happiness of the family is how the couple faces challenges together. Complaints and accusations will only make problems worse. Only by supporting each other can you get through hard times together. I hope every couple can walk hand in hand through the storm, rather than part ways when facing difficulties.